In the bustling city of Johannesburg, a young woman named Olivia lived a life that many envied. She was known for her beauty and her ability to attract wealthy men, often referred to as blessers, who lavished her with gifts and money. But Olivia's charm and allure hid a dark secret, a life built on deception and stolen wealth. Olivia's most recent conquest was a wealthy businessman named Mr. Johnson. He was captivated by her beauty and charisma, showering her with expensive gifts and money. However, Olivia had plans far beyond the temporary pleasures of luxury. She saw Mr. Johnson as her ticket to a permanent escape from poverty. One night, while Mr. Johnson was away on a business trip, Olivia executed her plan. She broke into his safe and stole a significant amount of money, enough to secure her future and more. She knew it was a risky move, but the lure of wealth was too strong to resist. With the stolen money, Olivia disappeared from Mr. Johnson's life. She moved to a new part of the city, hoping to start fresh and leave her past behind. For a while, it seemed like she had succeeded. She rented a luxurious apartment, bought new clothes, and indulged in the finest things money could buy. But as days turned into weeks, Olivia began to notice strange occurrences. It started with an unsettling feeling that she was being watched. At night, she heard whispers that seemed to come from the shadows. She dismissed them as paranoia, the result of her guilty conscience. Then, the nightmares began. Every night, Olivia dreamed of a dark figure, its face obscured, standing at the foot of her bed. The figure would reach out to her, and she would wake up in a cold sweat, her heart pounding. She tried to ignore the dreams, but they grew more vivid and terrifying with each passing night. During the day, Olivia's life started to unravel. She lost her appetite and began to feel weak and fatigued. Her once radiant beauty faded, replaced by dark circles under her eyes and a gaunt appearance. The luxurious apartment that had once felt like a haven now felt like a prison. One evening, as Olivia was getting ready to go out, she noticed a foul smell in her apartment. She searched for the source, but it seemed to be everywhere, clinging to her clothes and even her skin. No amount of cleaning or perfume could get rid of it. The smell became so overpowering that she could no longer ignore it. Desperate, Olivia turned to her friends for help, but they too noticed the smell and began to distance themselves from her. She found herself isolated, with no one to turn to. The whispers in the shadows grew louder, and the nightmares more frequent. One night, as Olivia lay in bed, the dark figure from her dreams appeared once again. This time, it spoke. "You cannot escape your fate," it said in a chilling voice. "The money you stole has cursed you. The only way to break the curse is to return what you took." Terrified, Olivia knew she had to find Mr. Johnson and make amends. She tracked him down to his office and begged for an audience. When she finally stood before him, she fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Please, Mr. Johnson," she pleaded. "I stole your money, and now I'm cursed. I need your help to break it." Mr. Johnson looked at her with a mixture of pity and anger. He listened as she recounted the strange occurrences and the curse that haunted her. "There is a way to break the curse," Mr. Johnson said finally. "But it comes at a great cost." "I'll do anything," Olivia said, desperation in her voice. "Please, just tell me what to do." "You must make a sacrifice," Mr. Johnson said, his voice grave. "A sacrifice of great personal value. Only then will the curse be lifted." Olivia's heart sank as she realized what he was asking. The only thing of great personal value she had was her daughter, Emily. The thought of sacrificing her innocent child was unbearable, but the curse had left her with no other option. Mr. Johnson gave her a small, intricate box and told her to open it only when she was ready to make the sacrifice. He warned her that the consequences of her actions would be irreversible. Olivia left Mr. Johnson's office, the weight of his words heavy on her shoulders. She returned to her apartment, where the foul smell and the whispers awaited her. She knew she couldn't go on living like this, but the thought of sacrificing Emily tore her apart. Days turned into weeks as Olivia struggled with her decision. The nightmares continued, and the smell grew worse. She could no longer leave her apartment without drawing stares and whispers from those around her. Her beauty, once her greatest asset, had become a curse in itself. One night, as Olivia lay awake, unable to sleep, she heard a soft voice calling her name. She turned to see Emily standing in the doorway, her eyes wide with concern. "Mommy, are you okay?" Emily asked, her small voice filled with worry. Olivia's heart broke at the sight of her daughter. She knew she couldn't go through with the sacrifice. She couldn't condemn her child to a fate worse than her own. With tears streaming down her face, Olivia held Emily close, vowing to find another way to break the curse. She would face the consequences of her actions, but she couldn't bring herself to harm her daughter. As the first light of dawn broke through the windows, Olivia knew she had to leave Johannesburg. She packed their belongings and took Emily by the hand, determined to start anew in a place where the curse couldn't follow them. But as they left the city behind, Olivia couldn't shake the feeling that the dark figure was still watching, waiting for her to fulfill the terms of the curse. Olivia and Emily found themselves in the small town of Plettenberg Bay, far removed from the bustling city life of Johannesburg. The picturesque town, with its scenic landscapes and tranquil beaches, seemed like a safe haven. Olivia hoped that the peaceful surroundings would help her find clarity and a way to break the curse without sacrificing her beloved daughter. Despite the change of scenery, the curse's grip on Olivia's life did not loosen. The foul smell that had plagued her in Johannesburg persisted, driving away any potential friends or acquaintances. Olivia's once vibrant and sociable personality faded into reclusiveness. She spent most of her days inside their modest rented house, desperately searching for answers. Determined to find a solution, Olivia began exploring the town, seeking out anyone who might help. She visited local healers, shamans, and even the town's pastor, but none could offer her a remedy. Each attempt left her more disheartened, but she refused to give up hope. One day, while wandering through the town's bustling market, Olivia overheard a conversation between two elderly women. They spoke of a renowned healer named Mama Agnes, who lived in a secluded village deep within the Tsitsikamma forest. According to the woman, Mama Agnes had cured ailments and lifted curses that no one else could. Desperate and with no other leads, Olivia decided to seek out Mama Agnes. The journey to the Tsitsikamma forest was long and arduous. Olivia and Emily traveled by bus and on foot, navigating the dense forest paths. Emily, though young, sensed her mother's desperation and remained by her side without complaint. Olivia's resolve was strengthened by her daughter's unwavering support. After several days of travel, they finally arrived at the village where Mama Agnes resided. The villagers were wary of strangers, but upon hearing Olivia's plea for help, they guided her to Mama Agnes's hut. The healer's home was simple, adorned with symbols and artifacts that hinted at her deep connection to the spiritual world. Mama Agnes, a woman with kind eyes and an aura of wisdom, welcomed them inside. Olivia recounted her story, from the theft to the curse and Mr. Johnson's demand. Mama Agnes listened intently, her expression serious yet compassionate. "The curse you bear is powerful," Mama Agnes said after a long pause. "It is tied not only to the money you stole but also to the harm you have caused to yourself and others. Breaking it will not be easy, but there may be a way." Olivia's heart lifted with a glimmer of hope. "Please, Mama Agnes, tell me what I must do. I'll do anything." "The curse demands a great sacrifice," Mama Agnes continued. "But it does not have to be your daughter. There is another way," though it is fraught with danger and will test your strength and resolve. Olivia nodded, determined to do whatever it took. Tell me what I need to do. Mama Agnes explained that Olivia would need to undertake a series of rituals, each more challenging than the last, to cleanse herself of the curse. These rituals would require her to confront her deepest fears and regrets, and to make amends for her past actions. Only by proving her sincerity and willingness to change could she hope to break the curse. The first ritual required Olivia to fast and meditate for 3 days and nights, seeking inner peace and clarity. Mama Agnes provided her with a sacred space within the village, where she would be undisturbed. Olivia agreed, and the villagers prepared the area for her. As the fast began, Olivia found herself confronted by her past. Visions of the men she had deceived, the money she had stolen, and the hurt she had caused haunted her. The foul smell seemed to intensify, making it difficult to concentrate. But Olivia persisted, drawing strength from her love for Emily and her desire to atone for her sins. On the third night, as Olivia sat in deep meditation, a vision appeared before her. She saw herself standing at a crossroads, with 2 paths stretching out before her. One path was shrouded in darkness, representing her past life of deceit and theft. The other path was bathed in light, symbolizing redemption and a future free from the curse. A voice, soft yet commanding, spoke to her. Choose wisely, Olivia. Your actions now will determine your fate. Olivia chose the path of light, vowing to change her ways and make amends. As she made her choice, the vision faded, and she felt a sense of peace wash over her. The foul smell, though still present, seemed to diminish slightly. With the first ritual complete, Olivia returned to Mama Agnes, who commended her for her perseverance. You have taken the first step, but there are still more challenges ahead, she warned. The next ritual will require you to seek forgiveness from those you have wronged. Olivia's heart sank at the thought of facing Mr. Johnson and the others she had deceived. But she knew it was a necessary step in her journey. She began writing letters of apology, detailing her remorse and willingness to make amends. She sent the letters to Mr. Johnson and the other men, hoping they would find it in their hearts to forgive her. Days passed, and Olivia anxiously awaited their responses. Emily, sensing her mother's distress, tried to comfort her with small acts of kindness. Her innocence and unwavering support gave Olivia the strength to continue. Finally, a letter arrived from Mr. Johnson. His response was stern but not without compassion. He acknowledged Olivia's apology and offered her a chance to meet and discuss how she could make amends. Though the prospect of facing him filled her with dread, Olivia knew she had to see it through. The meeting was tense. Mr. Johnson listened as Olivia poured out her heart, expressing her regret and willingness to do whatever it took to make things right. He agreed to forgive her, but on the condition that she work for him, repaying the stolen money through honest labor. Olivia accepted, relieved that she could atone for her actions without sacrificing her daughter. As Olivia began working for Mr. Johnson, she found a strange sense of fulfillment in earning her way through honest means. The foul smell continued to fade, a sign that the curse was weakening. However, Olivia knew her journey was far from over. Mama Agnes had warned her that the final ritual would be the most difficult and dangerous of all. One evening, as Olivia and Emily sat by the fire, a knock came at the door. A villager stood outside, breathless and urgent. Mama Agnes needs to see you immediately, he said. Olivia's heart raced as she followed the villager to Mama Agnes's hut. The healer greeted her with a grave expression. The time has come for the final ritual, she said. It will require you to journey to a sacred cave deep within the forest, where you must confront the spirit of the curse directly. Olivia felt a chill run down her spine, but she nodded in determination. I will do whatever it takes, she said. Mama Agnes gave her a bundle of herbs and a small vial of potion. "These will protect you on your journey," she explained. "But be warned, the spirit is powerful and will try to break you. You must remain steadfast and true to your purpose." With Mama Agnes's guidance, Olivia set off into the forest, leaving Emily in the care of the villagers. The path was treacherous, and the deeper she ventured, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The whispers returned, more menacing than before, and the foul smell seemed to follow her every step. After hours of navigating the dense forest, Olivia reached the entrance to the sacred cave. The air inside was cold and damp, and the darkness seemed to swallow her whole. She lit a small torch and made her way deeper into the cave, the shadows dancing ominously on the walls. As she reached the heart of the cave, a figure emerged from the darkness, the same dark figure from her nightmares. It stood tall and menacing, its eyes glowing with an eerie light. "Olivia," the spirit hissed, its voice echoing through the cave. "You cannot escape your fate. The curse is your punishment for the life you have led." Olivia stood her ground, clutching the herbs and potion tightly. "I am here to make amends," she said firmly. "I seek redemption and a chance to start anew." The spirit laughed, a cold, chilling sound. "Redemption is not easily earned," it said. "You must prove your sincerity." With that, the spirit lunged at her, its form shifting and twisting. Olivia threw the herbs into the air, creating a protective barrier around her. The spirit recoiled, but it continued to taunt her, reminding her of her past sins and the lives she had ruined. Olivia closed her eyes and focused on her love for Emily, drawing strength from her determination to break the curse for her daughter's sake. She drank the potion, feeling a surge of warmth and light within her. The spirit screamed in anger, its form dissolving into a swirl of shadows. Olivia held her ground, chanting the incantations Mama Agnes had taught her. The cave shook, and the darkness seemed to recede, replaced by a soft, glowing light. As the last of the shadows disappeared, Olivia collapsed to the ground, exhausted but victorious. She knew the battle was won, but the journey was not yet over. She had faced her past and proven her sincerity, but the final steps toward redemption still lay ahead. With a newfound sense of hope, Olivia made her way out of the cave and back to the village. She had overcome the darkness within her, but the true test of her redemption would be how she lived her life moving forward. Returning to the village from the sacred cave, Olivia felt a sense of relief but knew her journey was far from over. Her battle with the spirit had weakened the curse, but it had not entirely lifted it. She could still feel its lingering presence, a shadow on the edge of her consciousness. She knew she had to complete her quest for freedom, for both her sake and Emily's. Mama Agnes met her at the edge of the village, her eyes filled with concern and curiosity. "You have returned, but the curse still lingers," she observed. "The spirit may have been driven back, but your journey is not complete." Olivia nodded, her resolve firm. "I am ready to do whatever it takes, Mama Agnes. I need to ensure Emily's safety and break this curse once and for all." Mama Agnes led Olivia back to her hut and prepared a healing tea. As they sipped the warm brew, Mama Agnes explained the final steps. The ultimate sacrifice does not mean losing a loved one. It is about giving up the very thing that caused the curse to take hold in the first place. You must relinquish your attachment to wealth and deceit, and replace it with honesty and selflessness. Olivia's heart pounded. "How can I do that? My entire life has been built around wealth and the things it can bring. You must find a way to give back, to heal the wounds you have caused, and to seek forgiveness not just from those you wronged, but from yourself as well," Mama Agnes advised. "This journey will test your spirit and your resolve, but is the only path to true freedom." Olivia thought about her past actions and the harm she had caused. She knew she had to make amends in a meaningful way. The realization dawned on her that her path to redemption lay in helping others, in transforming her life from one of selfish gain to one of selfless giving. The following days were filled with hard work and introspection. Olivia returned to Mr. Johnson, working diligently to repay her debt. She poured her heart into her labor, no longer viewing it as a punishment but as a step towards healing. Each day, she found herself growing stronger, her spirit lifting as she contributed positively to the lives of those around her. Emily, ever the source of her strength, noticed the change in her mother. She no longer saw the desperation and fear in Olivia's eyes but a determination and kindness that shone brightly. The foul smell that had plagued them began to fade, replaced by a sense of cleanliness and peace. As Olivia worked, she also reached out to the other men she had wronged. She visited them, offering heartfelt apologies and finding ways to make amends. Some were skeptical, others angry, but many saw the sincerity in her efforts and accepted her apologies. Each act of forgiveness felt like a weight lifting from her shoulders, bringing her closer to breaking the curse. One evening, as Olivia and Emily sat by the fire, Olivia shared stories of her past. She spoke of her mistakes and the lessons she had learned, hoping to impart wisdom to her daughter. Emily listened intently, her young mind absorbing the moral lessons embedded in her mother's tales. "Emily," Olivia said softly, "I want you to understand that wealth and material things are not the source of true happiness. It's the love and kindness we show to others, and the honesty we live by, that truly matters." Emily nodded, her eyes shining with understanding. "I understand, Mummy. I will always try to be kind and honest." As Olivia's journey continued, she felt a growing sense of purpose. She realized that her ultimate sacrifice was not a single act, but a continuous commitment to living a life of integrity and compassion. She started a small community project in the village, using the skills she had learned to help others improve their lives. She taught women how to manage finances, grow small businesses, and become self-sufficient. The project flourished, and soon, the village was thriving. Olivia's reputation changed from that of a deceitful woman to a respected leader and mentor. The villagers, who had once kept their distance, now sought her guidance and friendship. One day, as Olivia was working in the community garden, she noticed a familiar face approaching. It was Mr. Johnson, who had come to see the transformation for himself. He was impressed by the changes Olivia had made and the positive impact she had on the community. "You have come a long way, Olivia," Mr. Johnson said, his voice filled with admiration. "I never thought I would see the day when you would turn your life around so completely." Olivia smiled, feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment. "Thank you, Mr. Johnson. It was a hard journey, but it was worth it. I have found a new purpose in helping others." Mr. Johnson nodded. "You have earned my forgiveness, and more importantly, you have redeemed yourself. The curse is no longer a part of you." As Mr. Johnson spoke, Olivia felt a warm sensation spreading through her body. The lingering shadow of the curse dissipated, replaced by a lightness and peace she had never known. She knew in that moment that the curse was finally broken. Olivia continued her work in the village, dedicating her life to helping others and ensuring that Emily grew up with the values of kindness, honesty, and selflessness. She had learned that true freedom came not from wealth or material possessions, but from the love and respect of those around her and the satisfaction of living a life of integrity. Years passed, and Olivia's legacy lived on. The village prospered, and the community project she had started became a model for others. Emily grew into a compassionate and strong young woman, inspired by her mother's journey and the lessons she had imparted.